Hello everybody, and welcome back to another fun-filled Magic Duels gameplay. Today we're going to go ahead and look at the Mystery Master deck, which is all about clues and the clue tokens and the investigate mechanic. So let's go ahead and check out the deck that I've made. Of course, feel free to make your modifications that you want, and feel free to skip this part if you want to jump in and see the games. But I just wanted to show the cards. We have the Jadi Offshoot first as a pretty nice early blocker that gains you health. A couple copies of Dispel, which is a very cheap counter for instant spells if your opponent's trying to blow you out with something. Confront the Unknown is a very good card in this deck. 1 mana, you get to investigate. And investigate is just creating a clue artifact token. And the creature gets +1/+1 for each clue you control. So if you control like 5 clues, that'll be a +6/+6. The Erdwall Illuminator, I think that's how that's pronounced. Whenever you investigate or make a clue, you get to investigate again. So a pretty nice flyer, can be a good blocker too. Sylvan Advocate is always good in a green deck. Just a really cheap 2/3 that gets bigger over time. We have 1 copy of the Duskwatch Recruiter, which is a good way to grab other creatures out of your deck if you're having trouble getting creatures into your hand, or if you're low on creatures, and it can transform into the Howler, which makes all the creature spells cost 1 less. Just kind of a one-off to fill a gap. Bonds of Mortality can actually be quite useful. It's a 2 mana, but it draws you a card for 2 mana, so it's always pretty good. And you can pay 1 green at any time, and creatures that your opponents control lose hexproof and indestructible. And that's incredibly powerful. A pretty unique ability in Magic the Gathering. Making say gods on the other side indestructible, suddenly becoming not indestructible, and removing hexproof. It's pretty powerful. We also have some cards just to deal with the board, like Plummet for flyers, and the previous Disperse just to get rid of something. Press for Answers is another investigate card where you can tap a creature and it doesn't untap. So it's tapped down for 2 turns and you get to investigate. We have good old Nature's Way. It's Nature's Way, which gives your creature vigilance and you deal damage equal to your power. It's not a fight spell, so it's very useful in that your creature won't die. Of course, in any green deck, Nissa is almost always a good addition. 1-off can grab you a green land. The Tireless Tracker, I often talk about, such a great card, and this one also is all about the investigate mechanic. Whenever land enters, you investigate, and when you use one of those investigate clues, it gets a +1/+1 counter. So yeah, we're doing the investigate thing here, so that's why the tracker's in the deck. The Byway Courier as well. When it dies, it investigates. The Krasis is just the proper colors. This is a green-blue deck, and it's a nice little surprise flash creature that you can tap something down. Now the payoff for this deck is the Ulvenwald Mysteries. Whenever a creature we control dies, non-token, we investigate. And whenever we sacrifice one of those clues, we get to make a 1/1 human soldier. And this can get out of hand pretty quickly, surprisingly. So don't underestimate this enchantment. Of course, Tamio's Journal also investigates at the beginning of every upkeep, and we can sacrifice 3 of those clues anytime to search our library for any card, and that'll trigger the Ulvenwald Mysteries also. But also that'll trigger this Erdwall Illuminator. Each time we investigate again. So you'll be doubling all those investigative tokens. So pretty nice. You'll get double that with Tamio's Journal if you have that creature out. And of course we have a 1-off of Jace. It's always good to have a nice emo planeswalker in the deck. And then the mana base is pretty straightforward as usual. We got 8 islands, 8 forests. We've got our dual land here, which sadly enters tapped. And of course the Westvale Abbey is great in this deck because this deck is usually making lots of tokens, and so we can sacrifice those tokens to get Ormondal on the field. So that's why Westvale Abbey's in there. But yeah, there are some other investigative cards, but this is definitely the payoff here. The Uvenwald Mysteries making lots of 1/1 creatures that we can sacrifice, but they can also just be chump blockers. So here we go. Let's jump in, and we're going to do, as usual, 3 games, and then we'll do a 2-headed giant round with my partner and teammate Wild Boar, just to see how this works in 2-headed giant. And once again, some of the key words about opponents, come into play. Usually those keywords don't mean anything unless you're playing 2-headed giant, because that's the only time you have multiple opponents. But I went ahead and kept this hand, and yeah, I don't want to discard anything, sadly. I'll just go ahead and get rid of Dispel, since I don't think I'm gonna be keeping 1 mana up to use it, and I definitely wanted to keep my lands. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this flyer in here so that whenever you investigate, you get to investigate again. And you'll see, oh, bummer. Well, he didn't get to investigate for very long, that's for sure. Although in a way, it's nice that the opponent's wasting their never to return their kill card on a 1/3 flyer. I don't feel like it's too big of a loss. I have more valuable creatures. And of course, a lot of these creatures, I don't mind them dying because they trigger the mysteries when they die. And this 3/2, of course, when he dies, creates a clue token also. And of course, that is the drawing in the deck. Your card advantage is the all the card draw that you get from the clue tokens, since this deck is all about clues. Sadly, there's a lot of cool clue cards and investigate mechanics that were missing in Magic Duels that are in, say, Magic Arena. But the deck can still work, and you can still have fun with the clue mechanics. So I'm going to go ahead and start tapping some stuff down here. Make a clue. And of course I would have had 2 clues if if that flyer was still on the field. Ooh, a cartouche, never a good thing. Now I can't block. And I could get a clue by chumping, but my wolf is probably a little more valuable. Oh man, a Strider, huh? That's gonna be big. But Confront the Unknown for a single mana is pretty nice. Sadly, I only have 1 clue out there, so if I play the Confront the Unknown, it's going to be a +2/+2. But I may be forced to do that pretty soon here, because we're facing down a pretty big attack, I'm assuming. No? Interesting. That's actually quite a surprise. And he didn't sacrifice anything, so... yeah, kind of surprised the opponent didn't attack there. I'm going to go ahead and... I need a land here before I play the Tireless Tracker. Getting kind of behind on lands here. So we get to create 2 1/1 tokens because I sacrificed a clue, and we drew another Tireless Tracker. That's unfortunate. I kind of needed a land here. But as soon as I can get these tireless trackers going, oh yeah, we get to transform our werewolf here, which will make the tireless tracker 2 mana instead of 3. So that'll help as long as he stays in play. And yeah, I'm kind of surprised the opponent's not making any attacks. He has several good attacks. I think he's afraid of a double block, like on his 5/5. Man, yeah, I need a land. Let's see, is there any way I can draw here? If anything dies, I can create a clue token. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna hold the fort here, and I'll keep up Confront the Unknown. The Howler is definitely helping out, making it cheaper to play my creatures out. I could have played a second one out there, of course, but I want to keep up Confront the Unknown and Dispel, just in case. Dispel can be nice, really cheap cancel card. Well, an Advocate's nice, but yeah, I still need lands. So I've got some major synergies going here, my clue synergies, but yeah, not enough lands to really get things started. I need a land to trigger the 2 tireless trackers. And I played 2 spells that turn, so my vampire, or not vampire, my werewolf transformed back into a 2/2. But yeah, I guess I have some pretty good double blocks, which is why the opponent's not attacking, but I personally wouldn't be taking those double blocks because they're not really advantages to me. Oh, there's a god. See, now it would be great to draw my Bonds of Mortality, which is a surprisingly unused card, but I could remove indestructible from that creature. So yeah, not much I can do this turn. I'll just play out the Courier, and I'll keep up my 2 instant spells here. That black god, he has to sacrifice something in order to actually use it. So there he sacrificed a token, so he can attack with it if he wants. It also does damage to your face. So yeah, it looks like he's sacrificing his creatures to do damage to my face and give himself some life. Not the greatest play, but I guess he assumes he doesn't have that many great attacks. Okay, so now he's going for it. Probably just gotta chump this 6/6. I don't mind if this dies. And yeah, I know that both of those are gonna die because of first strike. But I just want to get some clues going here. So now we got 4 clues, 5 clues, 6 clues, and with all those clues out there now, I can show off this, which makes my token an 8/8. So yeah, the more clues you have, the better. There we go, finally. So that'll give me even more clues. Oh, he's going to sacrifice a creature to do damage to my face again. That's okay. So we got 9 clues now. So let's start drawing. And of course, each time we draw, we're going to be creating more tokens. Although I did take damage from his Harsh Mentor there, the 2/2. Says whenever we activate something, and activating a clue is an activate ability, so I got to be careful here. I'll lose 2 life every time I sacrifice a clue, so I may need to wait. Yeah, it's pretty easy to change the werewolf in this deck. You can just sacrifice your clues make a bunch of tokens, draw some cards, and he's gonna go to my face, huh? And you can flip your werewolf. Yeah, I definitely need to be careful here. It's kind of a problem because sacrificing my clues is a issue now, which is what you want to do in this deck. I mean, I could draw 8 cards with those 8 clues. So I got to double block the Menace God. And let's see, do I have a decent block on this first striker? I guess we can do a double block and see which he chooses to kill. But I'll be making more clues, and yeah, I just need to get rid of that Harsh Mentor. And we'll be off to the races. There's my Bonds of Mortality, so I can remove that God's Indestructible. So this is kind of a cool card, a pretty rare one. It also draws you an extra card. So, and at any time, it's an instant. At any time I can just pay 1 green mana, and all the opponent's creatures lose hexproof and indestructible. So it can be a pretty nice blowout. And this is going to be a blowout. Confront the Unknown, +12/+12. 16/17. And for just 1 mana in this deck, you can really buff your, like, a single creature that maybe is unblocked and just kill the opponent out of nowhere. Because you get +1/+1 depending on the number of clues you have. And this god can't do much without other creatures. He can't attack or block unless he sacrifices something, or one of his creatures dies. So it can't do anything. So now I'm free to cash in these clues, make some more tokens, grow the Tireless Tracker, and of course, hopefully you can see the synergies going on here. Alright, I drew a little bit of my life gain, so that's helpful. Flip my werewolf again. Hey, and there's another Illuminator, which will make even more clues. Let me go ahead and make some more tokens, draw another card, see if I can get another land for this turn. Just another offshoot, huh? Let's try again. But as you see all the tokens I'm making. As I mentioned, got 8 tokens, and the Tireless Tracker can get pretty big in this deck. There we go, the perfect land. Hadn't played a land for the turn. So let's play out the offshoot. So I have double. This will give me 2 life by playing the land, and then next turn I can, I've got plenty of tokens. I can transform into the Ormondal, the Profaned Prince, which is pretty much game winner. I probably could have attacked with my 4/5 there. Keep accidentally flipping my werewolf back and forth here, but yeah, he couldn't attack or block that turn, so I probably should have attacked with the 4/5. But that's okay, I think we got this, unless he has a creature in his hand that he can sacrifice, and he didn't play it last turn, so yeah, he's got nothing. No way to block. My werewolf transforms again. We got another land. Gain 2 more life. Make another clue. I guess I should have played the Illuminator first. I would have gotten an extra clue, so that was kind of a misplay. Should have played that first. And I would have gotten another clue off of the landfall. And yeah, I haven't really had a chance to use his Bonds of Mortality, but if he attacked with that 4/6 Indestructible God, I could easily kill it by just making it not indestructible anymore. And I'm just going to show off the Crisis here, tap this down. Not that I need to because it can't block anyway. And let's just finish him off here. But yeah, the Bonds of Mortality I could have used if he was getting aggressive with that God. And that's why it's in the deck. It's a pretty unique card with unique ability. Being able to remove Indestructible and Hexproof. Kind of a rare effect in Magic. Can't keep that hand. This one looks decent. Or at least serviceable. So we're going to do 2 more games here, and then we'll do a 2-headed giant round with this deck. Now this deck isn't the most powerful. You know, it's not like a really high win ratio because you do have to get your synergies going, and sometimes the opponent will run over you before you get the synergies going. You know, like Confront the Unknown is fairly useless unless you have a few clues out there already, and then it can be a really nice single mana buff card. But you got to get some clues going, and you got to get your clue producers, you know, going, which takes a little bit of time. But at the moment we're not under too much pressure. So let's just get the blue-green. I kind of like the combination too. The blue-green combination is always a fun one to play with, fun one to design decks around. I know a lot of decks I've been showing here on the channel, they're just 2 color. He's going to sacrifice that and get a -1/-1 counter on my creature. That's okay. But yeah, the mana fixing in Magic Duels is a little more difficult. There's a lot of cards that we're missing for mana fixing, and so the mana base is a little harder to deal with in Magic Duels than Magic Arena. And so that's why many of the decks that I show are only 2 color, because 2 color decks work just fine. You can manage them, and there are the dual colored lands. But when you get up to 3 or 4 colored decks, they start to have difficulties. They don't work quite as well, and the mana fixing isn't very good, and so a lot of times they fail. Well, that was a nice draw, Nature's Way. So Nature's Way is nice because it's not a fight spell, and so you never lose your own creature using it. And you get Trample and Vigilance. So it's a nice way to kill a card, and I might as well do this here because I want to make a clue token so that I can draw end of turn if he doesn't play some kind of instant, because I got nothing going on here. It was a little bit of a waste, but yeah, I need to start being more proactive. Okay, so he's going to kill that by putting a -1/-1 counter on it. So I'm going to go ahead and draw. Tireless Tracker is always good. And when that dies, I'll get another clue. So, not too bad. Let's get the tracker going here. Play a land. And we'll get another clue. Go ahead and draw. So yeah, when this deck gets going, you know, you don't even have to worry about card draw because the clue tokens are all about card draw. And another Tireless Tracker can't be bad. So there isn't much, you know, actual creatures that are about card draw in the deck. The card draw all comes from the clues that you sacrifice and just use them as your card draw engine. So we'll play another tracker out and our land, get 2 clues. And I still got enough mana to sacrifice one of them. Draw another card. Make sure to tap a little bit better here. Don't trust the AI to auto-tap your mana sometimes. Well, Jace is decent. I still am kind of looking for my Uvenwald Mysteries card, because I'd be making 1/1 tokens for every one of these clues I sacrifice. And I'm going to go ahead and keep up my instance here. And if the opponent plays nothing, we'll go ahead and sacrifice another clue. Another thing that's great is, you can sacrifice clues and make the tireless tracker bigger at instant speed. But as everybody knows, tireless tracker is always just a really, really great creature. Hey, this is nice. Use that to grab a land. Didn't really want to tap my Abbey there, but that's okay. Make some more clues. And of course, the more clues we have out there, the better the confront the unknown is. And we got our Planeswalker going here, so we're in good shape. Hey, I'll keep that. It's always good to have. Kind of wish I had it earlier. It would have made even more clue tokens for us. Haven't really gotten to show it off yet. But, yeah, it can be pretty nice, doubling whatever clues you produce each turn. There we go. There's our Uvenwald Mysteries. So we've pretty much got everything we need in hand. And yeah, our opponent must have a pretty bad hand because he's just been sacrificing those Cradle of the Accursed lands to make zombies. He's been making zombie chump blockers. So his hand must not be very good. He maybe has some 5... Well, he's got 5 mana, so... He might be missing a color, or just that one green is not enough. He may need another green, perhaps. Because, yeah, it seems like our opponent's not playing much. Would be nice to see what he's got in his hand, but obviously nothing of value. But yeah, our hand's stacked here. We have ways to deal with creatures now. Ways to make tokens, ways to draw infinitely. So it's over. Yeah, and another Illuminator, because why not? I'll go ahead and show off how this works by creating a clue token, and then I'll create another one and another one. So those 2 flyers, whenever you create a token, you get to create more. And we'll just go ahead and go through the motions here. Oh wow, yeah. Buff my creatures, play another land, make some more tokens, because why not? The field is starting to get a little full. Fortunately, the tokens all get stacked, so cleans up the space. Start to run out of space. But yeah, there was another good showing of the Mystery Master deck, the Clue and Investigate mechanic. Let's do one more here. This will be the last one, and then we'll do a 2-headed giant one. See how this works in 2-headed giant. This hand's decent, I guess. I always like having Nissa. Sadly, can only have 1 copy of the Planeswalkers in this format, so I'm always tempted to keep a hand that has one of my Planeswalkers, especially Nissa, since she's pretty cheap and grabs me a land. So we're up against blue. Alright, an offshoot. Well, that kind of messes up my mana curve. But I want to play this out first, and then a land. Gain me some life. But we're also up against a blue-green deck, it looks like, which I'm guessing is going to have some flyers in it. Well, Nissa, not too threatening at the moment. Alright, we got an Illuminator. So he just scryed. That's what the opponent did there. Let's gain life. Gonna play this out just to be mana efficient. Maybe next turn play the Advocate and the Illuminator. And then I'll play Nissa when I don't draw a land, so that I can guarantee my land drop with Nissa. 2/2, it's not too threatening. Plummet's always useful. So we'll just go ahead and get our creatures out here, and if I don't draw a land next turn, Nissa can grab a land. And I'm okay trading this off, because it makes a clue for me. And we make another clue because of our 1/3 Illuminator. Always fun, doubling up on the clues. Opponent seems to be a little mana screwed. Oh. He got a creature off the top, 3/1, and another 2/2. So there we've got our Uvenwald Mysteries. And yeah, I just want to get that going. I think I'll hold on to the Confront the Unknown in case he attacks or attempts to block. See if I can get him to, see if I can blow him out here. So we'll make another clue and get +3/+3 and another one. So far we're in pretty good shape. Got lots of clues, but I'm a little low on mana here. So yeah, probably just need to run Nissa out here, and yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Essence Scatter, that's a huge setback. See if I can take out his Nissa. So yeah, that was a pretty big setback. I was relying on Nissa to give me an extra land. Oh wow, and he's gonna get his... He got his cancel card back, so gotta keep that in mind. He has an Essence Scatter in hand. And that one's a hard counter, so... So yeah, I know he's got it, but... So maybe we'll just draw, see if I can draw into a land here. And at least I can start making tokens. There we go. That helps. But yeah, I'm not going to play anything out here. Tireless Tracker, I guarantee, is going to get cancelled. So I'm going to have to wait. But it's fine, I'm putting pressure on him. And not too much pressure on myself. Oh, commit. Well, not the worst, since it puts it back in my deck, third from the top. Kind of wasting my time on this Nissa, maybe. Its ultimate can be pretty dangerous, but okay, so finally we've got some lands here. And yeah, I knew that was going to happen. That's why I didn't play the Tireless Tracker, by the way, if you were wondering. Because I knew he had that cancel card in his hand, and the Courier is pretty... isn't that great, so I'm fine having him cancel that, but I definitely want the Tireless Tracker to stick. But yeah, it's still anybody's game here. He could do some nasty things with that, with his Nissa. I'll go ahead and chump block this since I know I can make more tokens. 5 damage is a hefty amount. And yeah, don't be afraid to... oh wow. Yeah, he got something really good there off of Nissa. And a 6/5, so that's a problem. You know, I do have Plummet, but Plummet does not work on that 5/3 because it's got that shield on it. So I need to go searching here. Hopefully I can find my Westvale Abbey. And speak of the devil, there it is. Excuse me. Westvale Abbey is a devil. So speak of the devil, we speak of Westvale Abbey. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, I have 3 tokens. Let me go ahead and see if I can surprise him here. Okay, took the bait, so we'll confront the unknown. Get +3/+3. So I feel a little safer. I think I'll just go ahead and sacrifice another. I'm trying to make as many tokens as I can, because I know Westvale Abbey's coming up here. And let's see, 3, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7. So I should have enough mana to make one more token and trigger a Westvale Abbey. But whenever you do that, make sure you watch the auto tapper, because it always taps the Westvale Abbey, and you don't want it to do that. So our opponent's gonna embalm that 5/3 from the graveyard. And grab a free land with Nissa. Yeah, that Nissa's been doing a lot of work for the opponent. But I'm just gonna go ahead and put on the pressure here with the Abbey. So count my mana here, make sure I got enough. This costs 5. So sacrifice one of these, make sure not to tap the Abbey. Make one more token, draw a card, and we're just gonna go for it here. So we're gonna sacrifice 5 creatures, which I have no remorse over. 5 tokens gone. We can always create more. And we've got our 9/7 indestructible lifelink haste demon, which the opponent's going to have to answer with chump blocks. And we gain 9 life every time, so... yeah, the 9/7 is pretty backbreaking. The best way to deal with it, you know, if you're on the opposing side of it, is to bounce it, because it is a land. So if you bounce it back to your opponent's hand, it just becomes a land again. And yeah, I mean, 36 life, I'm fine taking 5. The big scheme of things, I don't think that's going to do much. Now he doesn't have any more blockers, so I think we're in control of this game. We're just going to make some more clues. And I'm going to finally make sure this Nissa is gone. And I've got Confront the Unknown to blow him out here if he tries to block my Tireless Tracker. Yep. I can also just sacrifice a token here and make another... oh! Synchronized Strike. Okay, well... guess we'll disperse this then. Blocker's already declared. So sadly didn't get the damage in, but yeah, that was kind of a interesting turn of events. Could have played the Confront the Unknown, I suppose. But yeah, the opponent does have a lot of mana. And some big creatures. But I think we got this. The 9 damage in the air. Ooh, memory, huh? Well, goodbye to my hand. I guess I'll play this out. And the reason for that is I can just create 2 extra clue tokens before I lose my hand. But yeah, commit to memory forces both opponents, both players, actually all players, I gotta remember Two-Headed Giant. All players have to discard their hand, and the graveyard goes back into your library, and we redraw a new hand of 7 cards, which in this position is pretty beneficial to me. It's just we're going off here. Let me just go ahead and play this. Before combat, tap down is 6/5. But yeah, I got a stacked hand here. Let's just go ahead and get a bunch of damage in. I don't quite think this is lethal, of course, because he can chump block. But we'll go ahead and buff our Profane Prince. And put our opponent down to 1, and we are up to 60. So I just kind of wanted to showcase how you can buff one of your unblocked creatures with that single green mana card. And sometimes you can win out of nowhere. It was almost lethal, not quite. If I had one more clue on the field, it would have been lethal. But yeah, our opponent's pretty dead. Unless he has a board wipe here. But even with a board wipe, I've got tons of ways to make just infinite tokens and infinite draw. And yeah, at 60 life, I don't see myself losing at this point. He does have a lot of blockers, but I mean, yeah, I can just push the 1 token through to finish him off if I want. And he's pretty much tapped out. Let's play our land. Make another clue, make another clue. 13 clues. Just play everything out here. Can press this flyer for answers just to guarantee. But yeah, we have lethal on board here. Let's draw another card, because why not? Make some more tokens. Because we're having fun. Make Tireless Tracker bigger. Draw a card. Oh, Nature's Way would have been fun too. Nature's Way is great to use on the 9/7 since it has lifelink. But yeah, that's the end. Alright, some pretty fun games there. Pretty fun deck, lots of interesting choices to make. Nature's Way would have been fun to use on the 9/7. But yeah, pretty brutal showing there. You know, the deck can be slow, but when it goes off, it goes off. So now, the time you've all been waiting for, we're going to do this in a Two-Headed Giant round. And my teammate is Wild Boar. Not sure what deck he's going to choose, but I'll be using this Mystery Master deck. Chandra as his avatar. So some kind of burn deck or something. I'll have to see. I think this hand is decent. Once again, I'm not a fan of 4 lands, but I do have one of my clue generators in hand. And I'm sure to draw some more nice creatures. It's always nice to have the mysteries, the Ulvenwald mysteries in your opening hand if you're playing this deck. Looks like Wild Boar kept his hand, so he was satisfied with it. Looks like it's some kind of red-black, maybe red-black burn deck with a little bit of madness theme going on, because he does have a couple madness cards there. Aether Hub points toward energy, so there must be some energy synergy cards in the deck. I'm not sure. Or he's just got the Aether Hub for mana fixing. One of the better ways to fix mana, since Aether Hub can be any color, as long as you have energy, because there isn't much mana fixing in, as I've said many times, in Magic Duels. But Aether Hub can be one way, since it's a land that can tap for any color. Gonna go ahead and attack here, as I think Wild Boar wants to madness one of his creatures out and draw a card, so might as well get 1 damage in with his insolent neonate. So I'll have to wait for him to do that. Gotta take turns here, and yeah, he's madnessing out his 4/4, which is always fun, and drawing a card. Oh man, and he could have played that Bone Picker too for 1 mana. If he had an extra mana up. So yeah, we're in pretty good shape here, it looks like. So far our opponents haven't done too much. Oh, it's gonna cycle the card. Alrighty. It's not like they're mana screwed, so okay, a lifelink creature. A Wild Boar could technically kill that if his hand was empty with the 4/4, because the 4/4 deals 2 damage to anything you want if your hand is empty. But that's not going to happen for a while. I'm just going to go ahead and play this main, even though I can play it as flash, tap down his lifelinker. And Wild Boar is just going to go for his Planeswalker, which looks just like his avatar. Let's see what he's going to do with Chandra here. He's going to create 2 mana. Okay, and I guess he's going to use Lightning Axe. So, yeah, in hindsight, once again, this is a good example. Make sure to communicate with what your ally is doing. There was really no point in me tapping down the 3/2 because Wild Boar decided he would destroy it anyway. I mean, but that's okay. I got my 3/3 creature on the field. I could have used it in a different situation if he was planning on killing that, but that was maybe afterthought. Sometimes you make choices after the thought, but once again, that's why 2-headed giant's really fun. You gotta coordinate with your buddy and make the best combo play you can play. That's why the Surge deck is definitely one of my favorites, because that one is just so much fun in 2-headed giant. If you missed that video, check it out. I did a video showing off the Surge mechanic. It's called Surge, and played 2-headed giant with Surge, and it's just wild how the synergies work in 2-headed giant. Which is a bummer, because that's just the deck you want to play in 2-headed giant. And some of the Magic formats do not have 2-headed giant, and that's just a huge disappointment. So, it's going to play start to finish. It looks like Wild Boar is going to play something from the graveyard here with his Chandra's ability. The Torch of Defiance. Not sure what he's gonna play here. Just gonna do damage to the opponent's face, it looks like. But yeah, Chandra might be not too long for the world here. So Wild Boar is gonna destroy one of the tokens with unlicensed disintegration. And we're just gonna go face here, I think. The idea is to try to get him to chump with his 1/1 token, because if the opponent has nothing to sacrifice, he cannot do his start to finish, which is in the graveyard there. A finish says he can sacrifice a creature and destroy any other creature. So, you know, just sacrificing his token is a pretty easy sacrifice for him. So by removing his 2 tokens, we've made it difficult for him to play that card out of the graveyard. That was kind of the thought process there. And as long as he has nothing to sacrifice, he can't kill any of our creatures. But Nissa's loyalty is getting up there, so we'll have to see. But his life total is pretty low, so it's not looking good for the opponent. He just has another tapped land. And let's see. Hopefully he plays... He's just gonna make a zombie, huh? Okay, my hand is stacked. I just have a wealth of cards here. I can tap him down, I can disperse him, I can use Nature's Way to finish him off, but I'm just gonna go ahead and create some clues, because that's what this deck is all about. I want to show off the clue making synergies. And yeah, Wild Boar is gonna use his Chandra's ability again, do damage to the opponent's face. I'm just gonna go ahead and buff my flyer here, because the game is over. I can't see our opponent surviving this attack. Oh, and Wild Boar's hand is empty. That's why he used all his cards, so that he gets he can do 2 more damage to anything he chooses. He's just going to go to the opponent's face. He could have killed the zombie or put it on Nissa, but yeah, that was cruel and brutal of us. So that was a fun 2-headed giant round with the mystery deck. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed this fun game of Magic Duels. Actually, it was Chandra there that her -3, or her +1 actually, deals 2 damage to each opponent. So that keyword actually is very relevant. Her +1 there, if you look at that. So, you know, since it's 2-headed giant, that's 4 damage. But yeah, that was definitely a brutal victory for Rando and Wild Boar. So once again, thanks for joining me, everybody. Hope you enjoyed some fun Magic Duels gameplay, and we'll see you all in the next one.